Hi everyone, welcome to week 2. Thank you so much for those of you who joined our chat this Sunday. There is a record of that chat that's posted in week 2 on Moodle if you weren't able to make it and you'd like to see what questions were asked. If you still have questions about the course or any assignments, please do feel free to email me and we can have a conversation. One thing to note is that as you're watching these videos and these lectures, I encourage you to take notes and hold on to these notes, as I think that they might help you as you compose your weekly responses and as you begin to think about your visual response assignment. This week you'll post your first written response in our provocation forum. Each week you'll be posting to the provocation forums by Saturday at 11:55 p.m. and then responding to your peers by Sunday. So a quick note on these weekly responses and your engagements. These responses are weighted significantly. They're a big part of your grade. They'll be short, but each one is worth 10%. So you'll really need to make visible how you're making sense of the course material, specifically the readings and the orientations that the authors are taking up in these readings. So what I'm looking for is that your work is clear and concise and very carefully written. Your use of language is intentional and thoughtful, and that you're showing depth and complexity of your understanding. So you'll need to show a critical attention to the readings and how you're grappling with the concepts that are presented. So in this way, these responses are not about your personal opinions or your experiences or what you think early childhood ought to do or ought to be. And also, these are not self-reflective pieces. What you'll need to do is draw from the literature and the course content and situate your thinking and your arguments within the author's perspectives. So pay attention to the author's dispositions and orientations and try to think alongside them. So another thing that students often do that I want you to avoid in these responses is taking a moral stance over what you think ought to be done, what you think early childhood educators ought to do in current times, or what we need to do to make things better, to find some sort of solution. I want you to stay with the trouble of the tensions that are presented in the text and show how you're grappling with them. So make your thinking visible and consider how you might play with these ideas and make sense of them in a way that's unfinished, that's in process, that shows how you're thinking through something, thinking through these problems, not to find a solution, but to further explore and situate your thinking in these problems in a deep way. So stay close to the trouble of a question rather than offering solutions, and stay close to the text. So by Sunday, you'll be responding to 2 other posts in the forum. And when responding to others' posts, it's not enough to say how you feel about the post, that you liked it, or that you liked something that was said. And it's also not enough to say that something was interesting. A response that enriches an idea and goes beyond the surface needs to unpack how and why something is engaging. What is troubling? What does this post provoke you to think about? Why is something interesting? What connections are you making to the readings? Maybe there's a quote that you've highlighted that might complement this person's response and can take us a little bit further in our thinking. Your responses in the online dialogue are intended to grapple with and tease apart ideas and to activate meaning beyond what we already know with dissensus and dialogue. So keep those ideas in mind as you're writing and responding to each other.